Well, hello. I am hoping this is working. Good to be with you. Sorry for missing last week's live stream. As always, great to be here. It's Monday, October 17th. My birthday is in 2 days. That's fun. And we have been hard at work here. I was going to say here at the OOMM Games studio, but this is just my home. Let's just get right into it though. Hey, as always, if you have questions, make sure to go ahead and ask them throughout. I want to kind of lay out what we're planning. So kind of our two big pushes right now, Mythwind, finishing that up, and Stonesaga. There's a lot to say on Mythwind, so I'm going to kind of leave that to the end. And I guess with Akarios too. So for those of you who kind of don't know, there's been a lot of progress on the Akarios FAQ. So Jonathan has been crushing that the past couple of weeks. You can find it on our. If Devin is here, someone can link it. I think you can find the FAQ on the BGG page, on Discord, in the Facebook community group. We just search Stars Akarios community. You'll be able to see it there. Hey, Mr. Fless. Good evening, Germany. Great to have you here. So it's been great to kind of see Jonathan kind of tackle a lot of the FAQ stuff. We're looking ahead. Okay, hey, what are the changes that we're looking into for the kind of Akarios expansion, and I guess like the 1.5 whatever second edition of Akarios. And besides, there's a few things to clean up, which we'll do. There's a couple things we're going to specifically do for the scenario book. We are going to add in a bunch of lore at the beginning, which will be great. Give everyone a little bit more context, some beautiful artwork that will be kind of scattered throughout the scenario book. But then, specifically, we want people to know, okay, hey, who are these different factions? And so we'll either, I guess, add that at the beginning or maybe at the end, or I guess maybe throughout the scenario book. So some of those elements from the art book will be kind of introduced into the scenario book, which would be great. And then kind of a big thing, one second, excuse me. A big area that we're looking into, kind of, well, we haven't figured this out yet, but with space exploration, we know it's just one of those things where it's like it takes up a lot of space. And hey, Devin, also note, I don't know if our website is linking the FAQ, so maybe just check that. But the space exploration in Akarios is one of these weird things where I like it in the sense that it gives everyone kind of a context of where their missions are, and you can explore organically. But we've been toying around with ideas on how to do something that's more, I guess, like Sleeping Gods-esque, in their scenario books, or maybe even like kind of Gloomhaven kind of town map, but a little bit more kind of discovered. So anyways, we're kind of looking into that. We're excited about where that direction is, and regardless, whatever new thing that we do for Akarios, we'll put this into the upgrade pack, right? So that people can purchase it, all that stuff going forward. Okay, so Stars of Akarios. Let me jump to Stonesaga. Stonesaga is great. I know, so funny. Let me just. I have some images of Stonesaga. That's fun. So really excited with where Stonesaga is at in the development process. It is full of great content. Our artist Andrea has been crushing it. Our game designers have been crushing it. Graphic design, like it's a full complete package. Really excited with how far along it is, and this is a pivotal week for us. So our plan this week is to send off our copy. Sorry, I guess our print review or press kit to our printer in China, and they're going to send us probably about 20 copies back for us to kind of distribute to reviewers and kind of potential partners. So a lot of different things. So we're really excited. We've gotten to this point, and it's interesting because our press kit, because it's like a campaign style type of game, we have these 3 missions, 3 campaign style games that kind of consist of it. But then we're including so much content in the press kit that's you're not actually going to be able to discover in those 3 games, just because there's a ton of cards. There's a lot of cool materials and crafting elements. There's just like there's so much there, and so this press kit is a little bit of a taster, but it really doesn't showcase. Well, I guess it does. It shows the amount of work that has actually gone into the game and the development, because the game is like it's so far along in development, so we've never been this far along in a game development kind of cycle, pre-launch, and that makes us like really excited. um Maybe you can send a reviewer copy of Stonesaga to Germany. You know what, I was actually, yeah, hey Mr. Fless, I was actually thinking about this because there's I do want a few European copies kind of like floating around, and we will have a couple. So potentially stay tuned for that. But it's so really neat space for the game to be at. It is, playing the press kit again. I was last week or the week before, and it's like, wow, I haven't played a game like this. It's cool. It's got this like emergent emergentness that it's not super familiar. Lots of discoverability. Our artwork dictates the game design often. So like honestly, my favorite kind of example of this is just the fact that in Stonesaga, we don't have icons on our kind of land hexes that showcase, hey, what actions you can do. Can you forage? Can you mine? Can you delve? We don't have icons. We have artwork, and then you look at, hey, there's a mountain here. Okay, great. I'm going to go mining. There's a forest here. Let me go foraging. There's a river here. Let me go fish. Right? It's that intuitiveness. Right? We're gonna have a reference. So for those who are like, hey, what's but we're making it so the art drives gameplay. It's really neat. So big push is happening right now for us with Stonesaga, just in this kind of like short term, and then we're going to kind of get these printed off, and probably mid-November we'll get the copies back. We're getting some 3D printed samples right now, some painted miniatures. So it's just a lot of those types of things are happening, which is fantastic. And the the goal is to get this into the hands of reviewers kind of early December, and we'll be launching in early 2023. In early 2023 is when we'll be launching. We're also queuing up a TTS mod, like a fully. I know we have like a mod that's just been made internally, but we have someone coming in to kind of help us make a scripted, really pretty slick TTS mod for our press kit, and that should be finished up by the end of the month. We'll be slowly doing some more playtesting with that and introducing it to more people as we go. And been really happy with like the progress of our Kickstarter page. We're at 4,300 followers, so it's great. My personal goal pre-launch is like 15 or 20,000. I know. I think Elden Ring, which is so funny. It's like whatever, Elden Ring, the board game. I'm really interested to see how it's going to do, but I think it's I don't even know, 20-some thousand. Hard to compete with an IP like Elden Ring. But I'm really excited about how Stonesaga is going to launch here. So that's cool. So that's Stonesaga. Okay, let me move on. If you have more questions about Stonesaga, feel free to ask. Devin and I were going over this massive content release kind of plan leading up into our launch. We have a meeting with the designers in 20 minutes here, just to kind of go over a handful of things for the press kit, just to make sure that we're ready and we're kind of queued up and good to go. So that's Stonesaga. Okay, moving to Mythwind. We have a lot going on. It's great. Mythwind. Nathan and I have been doing an incredible amount of playtesting the past month. Like a lot. Like we do these like multi-hour sessions And for the first couple weeks, we just dove into a single character. We each played a character, the same character, dove in, and we're just like making sure that it's refined, that it feels good, that the characters are fun to play, that there's good progression, that there's a lot of good elements in the game. And I'm so excited with where Mythwind is. Sometimes, like, especially in the middle of development, you start to question like some of your like, because you find the fun before you bring a game to market, right? You got to find the fun, and we found the fun in Mythwind. But it's easy to just to question some of that. And so it's been fun these past this past month or two to really kind of, it's not to rediscover the fun, but to remind myself, it's like, oh hey, this is a neat game with a very cool premise, um, that combines a lot of interesting elements that I think there's going to be a large group of people that really enjoy it. So let me just kind of talk through some of the little small tweaks that we've been doing. Well, one, Adam Baker, uh, vet rulebook guy, worked at Fantasy Flight for 10 or so years. He was the guy. He's written lots of things. I think one of the most recent books he wrote was like the fourth edition Twilight Imperium rulebook. So he's a guy who knows rulebooks. He's jumped in. And I'm excited to share this with the community pretty soon, the rulebook, but it's looking great. Uh, there's something about having a professional of Adam's caliber kind of take a rulebook. It's great. I don't know what else to say besides it's like really good. It's gonna help people onboard the experience a lot. And now he's moving on to the journals. Really excited about it. A couple things that have been changing with the roles. Let me just kind of walk through the roles. So with the farmer role, they had a free action each season right now, right? In the spring, the free action was planting, and then I think the summer was tending, and then the fall was harvesting. I liked it, but I tweaked it just a little bit. So they also had a weather effect action. So it's like if there was a certain number of weather things in a row, then it would trigger. We removed that, and basically in each season, depending on the weather, it will trigger like the free action. So the spring is every time it's sunny, you get to plant for free. The summer, every time it's like cloudy, or no, every time it's raining, you get to tend for free, and fall, every time it's cloudy, you get to harvest for free. And it's been a big change. So it's kind of underpowered the farmer a little bit, cleaned some things up, but makes it really kind of slick. Uh, I guess before going forward, the biggest overall change we've done is shortening the season length. So the season length is around 10 days now. We basically cut it in half, and for the big large purpose, Nathan had been Nathan had been suggesting this for a while, and I'd been ignoring him. But the the big kind of impetus to change that is, we feel like seasons are a good break. So you can pause and start the game whenever, and we have the game trace that can kind of save. But we're going to really encourage people just when they're playing a game to play season. And a season's a great amount of time. It's like in between 20 and 40 minutes right now, since we've shrunk the seasons, and you can feel like you accomplished something. You feel like you accomplished something. The town grows. You've done something on your board, and it's just a good amount of time. So that's where we're at with the seasons. So the seasons are changing quite a bit. The years are changing, and it makes for a really really neat dynamic experience. So the farmer has been working great. Just a couple small tweaks there. Crafter, we're really happy with the crafter. Again, a few small tweaks. Nothing like crazy. The crafter has a good kind of engine building aspect as they build their bag and as they upgrade their role skills and increase their reputation. Really like the crafter. The merchant has seen. Merchant has been honestly the hardest to balance, and the reason why is, hey, There's my dog being an annoying Kona. Okay, Kona. So the merchant has been pretty significant in balancing, and it's really just like math. We had it so the merchant could like manipulate the market in such a way. Kona, hey, sit. Um, sit. The merchant could manipulate a market in such a way where they could basically double their gold in like 2 turns. And it was just like wild. So the merchant would have these crazy like fluctuations in cash where we're like really happy with the bouncing of the other rolls. The merchant was just like out there. And so we've changed the merchants. The merchant's still core. It's fun. I spent a decent, well, not decent, but I spent a chunk of time, trading stocks and whatnot, and it has some of that vibe. So some people are going to like the merchant, some people aren't, and I think it's going to be indicative of most of these roles. But that's the merchant. The ranger, I just actually spent this morning. Nathan and I were playing. I played like almost a year of the ranger. Fun. I like the ranger. Ranger doesn't go to town very much. They go to town like 2 or 3 days in a season, do a bunch of stuff, and then they go out on an expedition. And expeditions are pretty fun. I can see the improvement of the ranger. We're tweaking some of the role skills so that there's a little bit more dynamism in the progression of the ranger. And but besides that, really cool. I think the ranger will be like a standout, especially if someone's just like doing their own thing and is okay with maybe impacting the town a little bit less. Although they still get to impact the town. It's different, right? They're just not doing a town action every day when they're out on an expedition. And the innkeeper. So the innkeeper needed a decent amount. I'm talking from Delta, right? A decent amount of change when it came to its progression, to feeling like it was improving. And in some ways, the innkeeper is a relatively straightforward role, which actually I think is okay. Innkeeper and the farmer are pretty straightforward. Still room for progression, and you get experience the story, but really, like it's so interesting because Nathan and I we keep on like speaking and telling one another that it's going to be interesting to see the reviews of the game. Not because we think it's going to do poorly, but because people's experience of the game really is going to be dependent on which roles they choose. And there's a million types of board games and a million types of board game players, and so we know that depending on the role that a player chooses might really impact how they experience the game. And so we're optimistic, we're hopeful that people will kind of mix and match and choose this role or this role, or maybe play multi-handed, which is a real brain burner in in Mythwind. So I try to play multi-handed, and it depends. If I'm thinking like critically as like a game designer, cannot happen because I have to like think through 2 different rule sets as I'm playing. It's similar to like Root. Playing Root multi-handed would be really brain burning. But yeah, so excited with how it's all shaping up. Our goal is wrapping this all up by the end of the month and getting files off for localization. We'll send the rule books on. We'll publish those probably in the next Kickstarter update, and we'll go from there. Anyways, it's been busy. Excited. Again, as always, make sure to join our community groups. There's lots going on there, and in our Discord, you're going to start seeing a lot of Discord stuff. Sorry, Stonesaga stuff over the next few months as we gear up for launch there. But in the meantime, excited to kind of keep on plugging away here on Mythwind, and excited to show you. And we're going to be getting back these design proofs pretty soon. Oh, I forgot to mention miniature production, the molds. It's finishing up in early November. So lots of kind of good progress, right? Stuff is happening. Just different pacing, and as soon as we kind of firm up some of these timelines, we'll kind of share those with the community as well. It's great. Hey, well, thanks for joining, and if you're joining late, great to have you here. Hope you have a fantastic week. Take care.